What up? What up? Welcome to this week's episode of Low End Theories Podcast. This is your girl Venus.
What's going on? This is Sam. How y'all doing today?
Awesome, awesome. We are glad that you guys are tuning back in. It's been a great, nice long weekend, Labor Day weekend. How did you
Yeah,
spend your weekend?
shit, it was cool, Charlie. You know what I'm saying? I can't complain. I ain't really, I ain't really do all that barbecuing and shit, but, you know,
Right.
just not doing too much extra work and just, relaxing and shit. So,
Okay, I spent my weekend poolside and with edibles. So it was pretty relaxing.
oh, okay. Okay, yeah, you say you went over some family members' house, right?
Yeah, I was at my sister's house and spent Sunday and Monday down there, and that's pool time, relaxing time, few drinks. So I had a good time. It was well needed.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. That's it. I can't do no pool shit, man. It was what was it? 50 degrees Sunday, and then Monday,
Ooh.
it got up to like 80, and then it dropped back down to 55 for the rest of the week. So today it was like 56 outside, and it was raining, and it was that sideways rain and shit.
All the rain that hurt.
Yeah, so the dog was tripping. Tucker was steady wanting to go outside, so I was taking him out there, and that rain hit his ass, and he started jumping up. You know what I'm saying? He started moving real fast and shit, back and forth. I'm like, man, what the fuck is wrong with this dog? Just man, I guess he was just trying to tell me I don't fuck with I don't fuck with rain, B.
Right, right, right. Well, that sounds like some bipolar ass weather.
Yeah, that part.
All right. So what's on the topic agenda for tonight?
All right, so tonight we're gonna talk about the Kanye West Nick Cannon interview. We're gonna give y'all our top five movies, our top five favorite movies, and we're gonna also get into Law 3 of the 48 Laws of Power. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
kicking things off with Kanye. Did you get a chance to listen to the interview he did with Nick Cannon last week?
Yes, I absolutely did. And what I can say is that after watching that two-part interview, I have a bit of a different perspective on Ye as I did before. Like, really with all of his, shit in the previous years, just the outbursts and, the super emotional charged speeches. You know what I'm saying? I really felt like he was, you know, either doing this to crave for attention, or maybe, everybody been kind of throwing around, oh, this nigga crazy. You know what I'm saying? He ain't been right since his mom passed and shit like that. But I think that now that he's had the opportunity to actually sit down with someone and really get out his thoughts and his reasoning for some of the shit he's been saying and putting out there, like it really gave me a different perspective. Like the shit that he's saying is starting to make sense, or it is making sense.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing that I've always kept in mind about Ye is that as he's gotten more money, he's really just amplified. Like, so the money
Mm-hmm.
has really just amplified who he really was, because when he was broke and he was telling everybody he was a genius and that he was going to be the best rapper ever and he was just making beats, nobody believed him. And then you fast forward a couple years and he's in the conversation of the best rappers out. Then he said that he was going to design clothes and he was going to have a shoe better than Jordan's and shit.
Mm-hmm.
He came out with that first Yeezy, and motherfuckers wanted that shoe more than they wanted a pair of Jordans. And like, I I try I do my best to not discount people just because the popular opinion is that they're crazy, because that's the easiest way to not value somebody's opinion, is just to say that they're
Mm-hmm.
crazy, and don't
Mm-hmm.
listen to him because he's crazy. But it'd be crazy people that be making the most motherfucking sense. Like, out of all of the people that they say be crazy, like when you listen to them, they be making the most sense. Like the shit that they be
Mm-hmm.
saying be making the most sense. And I think that's what a lot of people don't really give Kanye the credit for, is that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes he just be too far ahead of what it is that's going on, that is seen as being crazy. And then he does it and it's like, oh, that's what you meant. You know what I mean? So like when I was listening to the interview, they talked about a lot of shit, but what stood out to me was that when he was speaking about the conference that he did in the Carolinas, where he was
Mm-hmm.
crying about the abortion of his daughter, or the near abortion of his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and he had, he started crying, and people just took that as somebody being emotionally unstable. And I think a lot of that is because we don't show emotion. Like, we've been conditioned to not show emotions in public when things bother us, and to hold
Mm-hmm.
it in until we get to another place, and then we can express what that outwardly emotion is. Problem is that a lot of people don't get that space where you can voice, or you can have that release to get that out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so them tears or whatever that somebody may come about needing to shed never get shed, because the whole time they ain't had a space to be able to let that out. And he
Right. And when that happened, like this happened at a convention, like he used that platform that he had to release that emotion. So, like you said, oftentimes, or let's just say with any, political figure, because that convention was, political based. So what political figure have you ever seen show any kind of emotion during a speech ever? You never have.
aside from Trump, shit, nobody. Like, and I think that's what it is. Not saying that Trump is making it cool, but the idea that Kanye, because he touched on this in the interview too, that people, like, some of the most racist things that people he felt was saying to him was that he would be taking votes away from somebody that was going to actually win or whatever. But I do believe that he did this wrong. Like, he should have entered earlier, and he should have gave
Mm-hmm.
himself a real chance to be considered a third candidate. And by doing it with 6 months to go, or however long it was that he decided to announce, he didn't give himself the proper amount of time to have his ideas vetted,
Not at all.
to have his opinions actually taken seriously. Because when you just go out there and you gotta hurry up and say a bunch of shit, that's what it's gonna sound like. It's gonna sound like you trying to hurry up and get some shit out there so that people know what it is that you talking about, but you don't have enough time to expound on what it is that you talking about. So
Mm-hmm.
um, that allows for somebody to not take his campaign seriously. But when he started speaking them facts about what Planned Parenthood was based, was who it was founded by, the
Mm-hmm.
underlying reason why it was founded, and the results of it being founded, like, you can't dispute that shit. Like,
No.
you can't dispute that we still 13% of the population, and the shit was found, like, we've been 10% of the population, 10 to 13% of the population for however long they've been doing the census. And, like, you mean to tell me we ain't got to 25% yet? All these motherfuckers I see around, and it's only 13% of the entire population.
Right. And like he said, that if you look at where those locations are placed, they're in lower income neighborhoods. Like you don't see any Planned Parenthoods on the, middle class side of town, or the, what I'm saying, the people that's making more money. You don't see that shit over there. It's only
Right.
in the hood.
Right.
It's only in the hood.
Right. And the idea that um just given, and what was so not what's so novel about what it was that he was doing was that he was saying that he don't believe in abortion, and that he wants, but the fact that he don't believe in it don't mean that it shouldn't be an option. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
nobody has said anything like that. Like, the idea that no, I don't believe in abortion, but it ain't up to me to decide that you shouldn't have one. Like I think there should be options out there for people that want uh that are considering abortion to have a different option other than, you know what I'm saying, taking the life away. The ultimate decision is that woman's, you know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, if you had a better choice, would you still make that decision? You know what I'm saying? If
Right.
you had other options, would you still make that decision? That's a realistic view of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, he's pro choice, but that's just not his personal choice,
I say
basically.
he pro life, but that's not his personal choice.
Mm
I mean, that's not. I say he's pro life, but he doesn't want to make that your choice.
hmm. Mm hmm.
You know
Mm
what I
hmm.
mean? What else? What else from the interview stood out to you?
Really, for me, it just really gave me some clarity with the whole abortion situation, because like I was really thrown back, during that convention with that emotional outburst. Like, and I know we spoke about it before on one of our previous episodes. It just really blew me back. So the fact that he was able to come in and, just kind of clean that up and basically give more detail, so, us as listeners or us as followers can better understand his thought process with it all. But the other thing too, and I know we talked about this earlier, is that, I felt like this just gave us a little bit more insight about Ye. At the end of the day, like, we know him. You know what I'm saying? He from the crib. He from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? We know him through his music. You know what I'm saying? So now I feel like he's a little bit more relatable in a sense. Like, I can relate to him because you can get on TV and show some kind of fucking emotion. So that's what really more so stood out to me more than anything, is that I feel like I can relate to him just that much more than what I used to before.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, I mean, like I've always loved Jay. Like even
Mm-hmm.
even when he was going through his shit with, uh, I think he had an interview on Ellen where he was when he had first started talking about wanting to make clothes for everybody, for a kid. Like he had this idea where he said that he wanted kids that lived in like low income neighborhoods to be
Mm-hmm.
able to wear clothes that made them feel better, like to be able to get fresh and for them to be able to feel better, but their parents not have to spend so much money to do so. So
Right.
he had wanted to make affordable clothes fashionable. And he was saying that he was in a meeting with Zuckerberg and Bloomberg, or like Obama was there, and he was like, "Man, I got just give me the money, and I'll get it cracking." And
Mm-hmm.
everybody laughed at him, and he was like, "Well, what's funny?" You know what I'm saying? People, and then when you think about it, like, yeah, what is funny? Like people do that shit all the time. Like it's called fucking crowdsourcing. It's called like instead of like saying that his idea of asking these people for money is crazy, like look at the reality of it. Like people crowdfund all the time. They um
Mm-hmm.
they have investor meetings and shit where they try to solicit money for an idea or whatever. Whole universities do the shit to alumni in order to fund faculty and research projects and all that other type of shit. So
Mm-hmm.
the idea that he was asking all these motherfuckers with money to burn, like it wasn't like he was asking um, his friend list on Facebook or some shit, like some people be doing this shit and trying to get money for a funeral. You know what I'm saying? That's not what he was
Yeah, this
doing.
wasn't no GoFundMe type shit.
Right. That's not what this was. Like, I need some money. These motherfuckers got it. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Man, let me hold something. That's it, man. To even be at a table to have that opportunity, man, motherfuckers are kill for that shit. Like to have an idea that makes sense that you don't have the money for, to be sitting at a table with somebody that's worth 3, 4, 5, 50, $11 billion, and like, hey man, let me get a couple million so I can go do this over here. Like that's astounding. Like that's astounding.
Mm-hmm.
You pray for opportunities like that. Why not take it? I remember Kevin Hart had this thing. He was uh he was talking to Joe Rogan, and
Mm-hmm.
he was in a room with Jeff Bezos. Him and his wife was in a room with Jeff Bezos with a couple of Kevin Hart friends, and he saw Jeff Bezos and was like, "Man, that's Jeff fucking Bezos. I'm gonna go talk to him." And his friend was like, "Man, don't do that, man. What you gonna go over there for?" I'm like, why not? He's like, "Man, don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, no, you should just leave him alone, man." He's like, "Man, fuck that. This motherfucker, man." Like, hey, listen, man, he got a lot of money. I want to know how he got all of that money. I want to get money like that. I'm finna go say hi. So
Exactly.
he took his wife and he went over there. He introduced himself, shook his hand, and walked away. Like just so that this dude know who I am. I like what you're doing. I admire you. I hope we could talk one day. And then he just left it at that. It's not necessarily about like dick riding or anything like that. But if somebody is in a position that you want to be in, whether it be like if y'all got the same business or y'all in the same industry, or if it's just a dollar amount that you want to reach that they got, it behooves you if you're in the same room as them to say something to them.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Because you never know what kind of opportunities can come about from that. So if I'm in a room full of millionaires and billionaires, then hell yeah, I'm gonna open up my mouth, I'm gonna shake some hands, I'm gonna talk to some people, exchange contact information. Let me get the fuck on.
Hell yeah, man, shit. Man, let me jump down. You know what I'm saying? Put me in the car. Shit, put me in the car, man. Let me see how the fuck y'all living. Shit, the fuck?
Exactly.
So I'm with him. You know what I'm saying? And it really was refreshing to hear him break them ideas down in a fashion where anybody could understand them. Because just like you said, like I think it was a lot of people that was thrown from that conference. It was like, man, this
Hmm.
motherfucker's spazzing, and then listen to him on an interview like that. If you know what I'm saying, if they actually took the opportunity to do so and actually got an idea of what it was that he really meant and what it was that he was really saying. Because even though he blew up on Ellen, he still got that deal with Gap.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he still
Right.
got that deal with Gap. And ain't shit the Gap sell over $100.
Right. Yep. Yep. You are correct about that. Yeah,
You
it's
sign
been a
if you
long
sign a
time.
deal though, like you get a deal with let's say you get a deal. Who your favorite designer? I'm trying to think. Oh, let's say you get that Gucci deal, right? So you get a deal with Gucci. Like you can wear that shit. You gonna have a closet there you can wear mics. you gonna need to be able to wear mics whenever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Cause he said that shit, man. I thought that shit was hilarious, but at the same time, like, damn, yeah. Could you imagine just wearing Adidas all the fucking time? Like, damn, I can't wear no jump in. Like, no.
Nothing else?
I gotta have a pair of 11s. You know what I'm saying? A pair of 11s, a pair of sixes. I got a pair of threes. Man, I gotta have a pair of threes, man. Come
Gotta be
on.
able to switch it up. Gotta be able to switch it up.
Man, I know I want that clause too. You know what I'm saying? Just to be able to wear just to be even Tim's, like just a pair of Tim's every now and then. Like, damn, just Adidas all the fucking time. I mean, just any, like, even if it's Gucci, like, damn, I can't hoop in Gucci.
No. Mm-mm. No,
Yeah,
you can't hoop. You're not gonna wear that just, going to the grocery store just to walk the dog. Like I need to be versatile. I need to switch it up.
man, man, shit, I need a pair of ones in this motherfucker.
That part.
Man. All right, so we kind of want everybody to get a sense of who we are as people. You know what I'm saying, and what it is that we think. So we decided in this episode we was going to include our top 5 movies because we
Yes.
know y'all liked our top 5 of the, you know what I'm saying, MCs or whatever. So our top 5 movies. Now I didn't go genre specific, like picking one from every genre. It's just my top five, period. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
it's a it's biased as hell. I ain't gonna even lie, man. So I ain't gonna even lie. Because it was a couple of Spike Lee movies I had wanted to throw in there, but at the end of the
Hmm.
day, I had to ask myself if this shit was on TNT, right? Like I'm just okay. I'm turning the TV on. Game finna
Hmm.
come on, so I'm just watching whatever's on the channel until it come on. If that shit is on one of the movies I was thinking about, like Do the Right Thing or Do the Right Thing or Inside Man, because those are my two favorite Spike Lee movies. So if it was on one of them two, would I watch the rest of the movie or would I just be like, no, I'm not picking it up from here? And overall, I was like, nah, I probably wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Spike don't really make those pick up from anywhere movies. So
Yeah,
I
you
was
kind
like,
of have to watch them from the beginning.
yeah, especially like Inside Man. Like you got to watch that from the beginning because it's a couple of things that happen at the beginning of that movie that if you don't see them shits like when it happened, like you'll be lost in that motherfucker.
Yeah, you will be lost. Like you have to watch it literally from the very beginning to the very end.
Yeah.
So I'm with you with that. Yeah, I didn't really. I mean, I'm just looking at my list. I have a couple different categories here, but for me, it was really the movies, like you said. If you see it on TV, if it's on the TV when you turn it on, you're gonna watch it.
Right.
Like I will drop everything. Oh shit, this my shit, this my movie, I'm gonna watch it, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Right.
how many times I've also maybe gone to see it in the theaters, because it's at least like one movie on here that I can say I spent some good money in the movie theater.
All right. So what's the first one in your top five? Like this don't mean that it's your favorite all time, but just you know what I'm saying. Like what's the first one?
Well, this particular one, this is actually my favorite all time, all time.
You fuck
And you
around and say some
probably
shit
already
like
know.
Sparkle. You fuck around and say some shit like Sparkle. We we gonna start this shit
Listen,
off.
listen. No, it's not Sparkle.
All right. So what you got?
All time Harlem Nights.
Harlem. That's on the list. That's
That is
that's on the list.
every time it comes on TV,
I don't
I
give a fuck
have to
where that
watch it.
movie at. I don't give a fuck where that movie at. Inside, I don't give a fuck. Like, man, it could be toward the end when they putting that motherfucker in the vault. They like, hey man, listen, it'll last all weekend, but you know what I'm saying? That's how much air's in here. But I wouldn't take no deep breaths. You might want to. Man, that shit funny. Like it don't matter, man. It don't matter. Like where that movie is at. Like yeah, that's
And not
all
to
time.
mention like all the greats of comedy from Red Fox, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, like the list goes fucking on. I mean,
Robin
Arsenio
Harris.
Hall, Tommy Ford,
Ro-
like,
Robin Harris was in that movie.
oh
Um,
yeah.
man, it was just a who's who of black comedy. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was such a cornucopia, you know what I'm saying, of talent in that movie. Like it was unreal that they made that movie and it didn't blow in the box office, but it has so the legs on it just it's still funny. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's to this day, it's still fuck. Oh, you want to hit people with garbage can? Like and there's so many lines like throughout
Yeah.
the whole shit that you like, man, Joe.
Yeah, because that movie, I forget when they filmed it. Was it like in the early 80s, I want to say?
89, 89.
Oh, 89.
No,
Okay.
no,
Yeah, so it's like I was super young when that came out, but it's like once I started watching it as an adult, I was immediately hooked. Like it's always been my favorite movie.
I think I started watching Harlem Nights when I was a teenager, like when I was like 12 or 13. And
Hmm.
because I had a cousin, shout out to Irvina, she had every fucking movie like that. If it was on VHS, she had it. Like she had all the Star Wars, she had RoboCop, she had Coming to America, she had all of the movies. So like we would go over to her house and she put one of the movies in. The Harlem Nights was a go-to. Like we'd be in there dying laugh. Like
Yeah.
everybody, young and old. So yeah, Harlem Nights is on there. So that's one of my top five. So I ain't got to talk about that one.
Yeah, you can go on and skip right over that one.
All right,
So
so
what's next on your list?
to switch things up, and this is my favorite movie of all time. So
All time.
yeah,
Okay,
all
what you
time,
got?
Casino.
What?
Man, Casino is my favorite movie of all time, and it don't matter where it is. Like I said, man, it don't matter if it's on. I turn to it and I watch it, commercials and all. Like there's so many, there's so many gems in Casino that I think people just bypass. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk. I'll bring it up later when we talk about Law 3. But
Mm-hmm.
the the relationship between Pacino and Pesci's character, their
Mm-hmm.
relationship, and how that relationship influenced the direction of so many people in the movie. Them, their two relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
fucking Ginger, her dirty ass, like it. Man, every time like that movie, I learned I pick up on something different every time I watch that movie. It's a tie for me, but not really because this win's kind of going away between this and Godfather Part Two.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about Godfather Part Two is that when I was introduced to that, I couldn't understand it. I didn't understand
Mm-hmm.
um, what the dynamics were, how things had gotten that way. And even though they did like flashbacks, the flashbacks were actually of when the Don first got to America and his rise to power. So
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot that was just over my head at the time. Once I got older, it became one of my favorites. But like Casino came out in '95. I saw it like in maybe '97. That was it. like that was it. Like that was it for me.
Instantly hooked.
Yeah, instant.
Okay, okay. All right. So my next one, um, I'll say this is the one I spent some good money on in the movie theater. So I went by myself. I took the kids. Me and the man went. Me and my sister went. And I think me and another friend went. So I spent some good money in the movie theaters on this one, Black Panther.
I remember you telling me about this shit. Like you go see this movie like 6 times or some shit?
Yeah, it was like at least a good 5 or 6 times. And every
Damn,
time
bro.
it comes on TV, I'm stuck. I'm glued. I love
Damn,
that
bro.
movie. Like, I just love the fact of, this was my first time seeing, a superhero being portrayed by a Black person.
Mm.
Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman, yeah. I used to read Black Panther, so it wasn't that odd to me, and I knew he was the shit. The way that they wrote him in the comics, he was unfuckwittable. So the idea that they was gonna get him his own movie. Like I remember when he first showed in, I think it was the second Avengers movie, and it was like, whoa, what the fuck, like man.
Hmm.
Black Panther, because like he was really unfuckwittable. Like, so that movie, like I love that movie too. Like, but not go see 6 times, love. Like,
Whatever. I loved it, and I mean, it was, cool for our kids, our young boys and stuff. Because I'm not gonna lie, like I was never really into comics as a kid or a teenager, so I really wasn't into that kind of stuff. I just remember like back in the day, me and my sister used to watch the old school Batman, like the boom pow kaboom
oh yeah,
Batman.
the one that used to come on right before wrestling.
Yes, so we used to watch that together. So I used to watch stuff like that. I did watch Wonder Woman, and that was as far as it went for me.
Mm. Yeah, it really was a good movie though, and it it was a testament to our selling power. The idea that you can put black people, you can have an all black cast. I mean, minus
Mhm.
the, you know what I'm saying, minus the white dude, Martin Short, minus him, you can have an all black cast and sell out,
Mhm.
and not just sell out in the States, but sell out worldwide. Like to this day, it's still the highest grossing film in the Marvel universe. Like
Mhm.
it's it's sold billions of tickets. Like it was almost a sense of pride to know that, you know, the most popular black superhero is also the most bankable.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it was just as many kids dressing up as it was just as many white kids dressing up as Black Panther as there were black kids dressing up as Black Panther. Like, and
Mhm.
it wasn't like I never saw any backlash. Like me living in Iowa, like it'd be kids crying in the aisle like that Halloween, and like maybe like for 2 years actually, because they came out with the last two Avengers movies after that or during that time. And
Mhm.
like you see kids crying because they couldn't be Black Panther. You see kids
Yeah.
crying. You see girls crying because they couldn't be Suri. Like the costumes were sold out. Like that shit,
Mhm.
man. Like that shit touched me. You know what I mean? Like for black kids to not have to only choose between Iron Man, Spider Man, and Captain America, and for them to want to be Black Panther, and not just because he was black, but because he looked cool and he was like the shit. That that
Yeah.
that movie did so much culturally and, you know, fiscally, and it is an amazing movie. Like that
It
is an
is.
amazing movie.
And I did see some stuff floating around on I think it was Facebook. Yeah, I want to say Facebook. Um, there's talks of doing a part two or a sequel.
Yeah, they have been talking about doing a part two. They just, I think the talk this week was wondering what direction it was going to go in, like because
Hmm.
there isn't a written storyline in the comics where, you know, Black Panther dies or anything. There is him losing his crown, but they killed off Killmonger because that's who we lost it to. So they've been talking
Hmm.
about, well, I don't remember reading anything directly from Marvel or Disney, but the talk is that they'll make Zuri the Black Panther. They'll make his sister Black Panther.
Okay.
I think it'll probably be either his sister or, I guess, like if you want to call it that, his love interest.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because that's what I saw. I saw that, they were thinking the best plot to go with was bringing Shuri in as next on the throne.
Yeah.
So either way, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch
I'm
that shit. I'm gonna watch that shit too. Shit. Uh,
gonna...
sneak a slice of pizza into the movie theater. Watch that shit. Shit, but our movie theaters, they sell liquor at ours. They sell liquor at y'all movie theater.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We have
Man, when did
I
that shit
pick.
start?
Yeah, that's been going on for the longest. They got I pick, and they have a bar inside of the movie theater. So it's a few of them do that, and even when they wasn't, that's what I got a big purse for.
Man, shout out to the tote bag. Shout out to the tote.
Right.
Shit, cause and the bubble coats. Ooh, I definitely remember going to Subway and sneaking something in the sleeve and having like a Gatorade or a pop
Yeah.
ounce or some shit. Hell yeah! Shout out to that shit, man. I still try to do that shit. My kids be with me and they be like, "Dad, why are you doing that? What? We can't do that. We can't. We don't have no money. We don't have no money. We broke." Like, hey man, what is? Hey, listen, man, don't be counting my money. Don't be counting my money, man. Hey, listen, man, this is how. Hey man, you want to eat dinner, don't you? Sure.
Yeah, but not only that, these same snacks that you want at the movie theater, that's gonna run another $20, $30. We can go right to the dollar store and get the same shit.
Same shit.
Boom,
Same
in the
box.
purse. Here you go. Here's your
Same box.
M&Ms. Here's your popcorn. Okay, we getting off topic.
All right, so I say my next movie is Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
All right, I I like I guess I'm weird. I'm one of the black people that actually like the way Quentin Tarantino writes. Like I don't care that motherfuckers say nigga 18 million times in his movies. I don't care because I hear the shit that often anyway. Like so, I mean, it's just a representation of reality to me. Shit. So,
Mhm.
and then plus, just like Sam Jack said, man, it's just a word. Like that word got as much power as you give it. So,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
and I think it's ironic that he's been in so many of his movies. Like he's been in so many Quentin Tarantino movies, but Pulp Fiction is my absolute favorite. Like the lines that he was given in that movie, along with the dialogue and how things can go from 0 to 100 in 0.2 seconds and shit, and fucking Bing Rames was in that motherfucker, and like, and the thing about that movie is that as much as they said that they criticized the script for having the word nigger in it so much.
Mhm.
I can't watch that movie and say that there was a black person that was portrayed negatively. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
or that was made to fit a stereotype. Like Samuel Jackson was the antagonist in that movie. Like he was the dude. Like it wasn't John Travolta. Like it was Sam Jack.
Mhm.
And to prove that fact, John Travolta died in that movie. You know what I mean? So like it's
Okay. It's been
like,
so long since I've seen that one.
man, please, man. I try to watch that at least once a year. At least once a year, I try to watch that movie, man. Shit, cause like, and to be honest, like I say lines from that movie almost every day, like almost every day. Oh, you in the red? Well, I'm a mushroom cloud laying motherfucker. Like, that is my shit, man. Hey,
Oh
man,
my god.
that is my shit. So yeah, Pulp Fiction. And I remember the first time I saw it, I was in high school, and we didn't even have cable. I was we had it was just used as an antenna. So like the channel would come through but wouldn't come through. Like nowadays, like they'll just black the shit out. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
back then they had the squiggly lines and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you had that horrible ass reception and the sound would fade in and out. I watched it like that for the first time. I watched that whole movie like that. And then when we finally got cable and I watched it for real, I was bad. I was hooked. I was hooked. This is a
Okay.
tasty burger. Man,
Gotta love Sam L. Gotta
man,
love Sam L.
shout out to Sam Jack.
Hell yeah. I have him as one of my Alexa voices.
Man, you could Alexa. Who is Alexa with? Alexa is with Google, Amazon, right?
Amazon. Uh-huh.
I need to
Yep.
figure out
And
how to
you
do
can
that
pay
shit.
like a extra $2 to use his voice instead of
Cause
Alexa's
I
voice.
heard that you can get him explicit too, can't you?
Hell yeah.
Man,
Hmm.
I got to look into that shit. I got a task to do, cause that I think that shit would just be fun, man.
My shit be
Motherfucker,
lit.
motherfucker, you're going the wrong way. Like that's shit like that. Yeah, I gotta check that out, man. I gotta check that out.
All right, all right. So next on my list, Coming to America.
Damn, that's on mine too. You can't,
Really?
man, hell yeah. Like, how the fuck you leave Coming to America off? Shit. Man, that's another one. Like, man, motherfucker quote that shit every goddamn day. Who the fuck is this asshole? Like, shit, Shit, man,
And
please.
Samuel was in that one too.
Hell yeah, he was in that one too. Shit. Hell yeah, man. Go ahead. That's your movie, so you go ahead and talk about it, man. 'Cause
Literally every time this movie comes on TV, I have to watch it. I think um, Eddie Murphy and Arsenio, they just make this really great combo in the movies. Like they funny as shit. Like you can't fucking deny them. So, shout out to the comedy greats, but it's like, man, that shit was just so funny. Them coming to New York and
what is a
getting in the.
dumb fuck? Hell yeah, man. That shit's
It's a
funny.
dumb fuck. Yeah. Oh my god. So yeah, and then the homeboy with the Jerry curl.
Oh,
Remember
hell yeah, man. I'm off.
when his family was sitting on the
Hell
couch
yeah,
and then they
all of
get
them
up
got
and you
up
see the
them
three
big ass.
spots.
Yeah, that shit funny, man. And then John Amos was in that motherfucker. Baby, the boy got his own money. And
Mm-hmm.
when I say the boy got his own money, I mean the boy got his own money.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
Yeah, so
man.
that's one that I have to watch it every time I see it. So I've been hearing something about, well, I've been actually hearing it for like a while now, something about them trying to do a follow up to Coming to America.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know if they were talking about using like the same cast members
From
as before.
from what I understood, they got as many of them that was still alive
Mm-hmm.
to take part in part two. And they filmed a lot of it in Rick Ross' house.
Oh shit. Okay, I
So
didn't even know they started filming yet.
yeah, they started that shit last year. And then
Okay.
I think they got a lot of it done before COVID hit, but I think that once the COVID thing hit, it slowed everything down. Because I can't
Yeah.
remember if they had got to post production before um, everything had to shut down,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
they were alternating between uh, Ross House and Tyler Perry Studios. Cause
Okay.
Cause that shit. I don't really think motherfuckers understand how big that studio is. Like, fam got a full size mock up of the White House on that motherfucker.
Oh shit. Yeah, I know
Like,
he was. I know Tyler Perry was just named as a billionaire. He billionaire status now.
hey, that shit is not shocking. As many plays as motherfuckers was going to over there on 79th,
Mm-hmm.
man, shit.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry used to shut the town down when he came in. So, man, I'm glad. What was that? The Regal. So motherfuckers coming through the Regal. Man, the people, I knew people that, like, you was talking about how you went to go see Black Panther all them times. I knew people that would go see them Tyler Perry plays all the nights that he was there.
Oh wow.
Like, I knew people that did that. So yeah, man, congratulations
Okay.
to him if that's true, shit. But okay, so
Wow.
you done took
Yeah.
two of them off my list and shit,
Yeah. I thought our list was gonna be totally different.
man. You should, motherfucker should have went over this shit. Should have talked about this shit first, shit. But nah.
Obviously. Okay. Well. What else you got?
All right, so the last one, since we did Casino, Pulp Fiction, Harlem Nights, and Coming to America, my last one is Heat.
Okay.
Now, I could say why this is, like, there's so many different elements in this movie that make it my favorite, because the plot line is kind of, it's kind of simple. You know what I mean? Like, cops and robbers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that these two motherfuckers sat down and was having coffee and shit and was telling each other, like, man, you do what you do, I do what I gotta do. But at the end of the day, if it comes between you killing some poor sap, making some woman a widow, brother, you are going down. Like, he just told his ass, like, the fuck, you just tell the motherfucker you gonna kill him face to face and shit. Like, that movie hard as hell. And it's got to have one of the best action sequences ever shot on film. Like that shootout outside of that bank, the shit carried on for almost 10 minutes with no music. That shit never happens. Like generally when you
Damn.
have a movie with an action sequence, like people is it's music going on and all of this other type of shit, man. There was no music. All you heard was guns.
For 10 minutes straight.
Man, and big ass guns. That's all you heard was big ass guns for like 10 minutes straight. I love that shit. I
Wow.
love that shit, man. Heat, like if I just want to see like some really, and the script was good, the acting was better, and people had been clamoring for Pacino and De Niro to be in the same movie for ever since Godfather Part 2, when they were in the same movie, but they didn't share the screen together. And people was just clamoring for that. And they finally got it. And that was, I don't think it could have been any better than that. Like, that movie was, man, it don't matter what day it is, what's going on in my life. If I'm sitting down and that shit is on, I'm watching it.
I've never seen that one.
Hold on. You ain't never seen Heat?
No.
What fucking rock have you been? How the fuck have you not seen Heat?
I feel like you're judging me right now.
I totally the fuck am. Like, how have you not seen Heat?
Because, like,
Who the
I'm
fuck have
not.
you been dating? Like, who is these dudes that ain't seen Heat, ain't made you sit down and watch Heat, or had the shit on the TV? Like,
Listen, I'm not super huge in the action shit. Like, I just really got into John Wick. So I just started watching John Wick. I watched, what is it, 3 of them? I just watched all 3 of them. So I mean, I
I've been
watched.
putting off buying John Wick on Amazon for I don't know how long. And the reason I've been doing it is not because I don't want to see it. It's because the last time I couldn't wait to see some shit, they had the new episode of Luther had came on. And I love Luther, the TV show with Idris Elba.
Mm-hmm.
He played I love that
Mm-hmm.
fucking show. So I had always kept up on it, and the new one had came out. I was like, man, fuck that. I'm buying this shit. And I sat there and watched it and paid for it. And the shit was free the next week. I was mad as hell. Like, I was mad as hell.
Yeah.
So like it ain't came free yet, but it's creeping up to the now available list. And as soon as it get up there, I'm gonna check it out. Because I do like those John Wick movies. I do like those.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll put that on my homework list to check that movie out on Netflix.
I cannot believe you never seen. I cannot believe you never seen Heat.
No.
All of the
Okay.
New
Moving
Jack
on.
City shit that we grew up watching, and all of the fucking Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood, all of that shit that we watched, and you ain't seen Heat.
No. I mean, I watched all that stuff. I watched Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society. I've seen all that, but not
What
this
is
one.
on?
So sorry.
You're the prey. All right, so
Okay.
what's your last one?
Okay. So, okay. I actually have two.
Oh yeah, that's right. You
Yeah,
got two.
I have two. So I'll make them quick since we knocked two off your list.
Whatever, dude.
So my last two is Love Jones. I had to throw a love movie, a romance film in there. So I Love Jones and The Matrix. All of them.
All of now, Love Jones. We got to talk about Love Jones. I think, man, when you actually think, I think Love Jones might be the greatest black love story ever made.
I think so. It is. Like it was just again some shit filmed right in Chicago, right at the
Mm-hmm.
crib.
Yep.
Some good movies come from the crib.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Lorenz Tate, he was man, like Lorenz Tate was super duper fine back then too. So, so you described your movie how you wanted to. I'm gonna describe mine. But yeah, it was just like the ultimate, like you said, the ultimate love story. So the way they did that was like, they got together, then, what I'm saying, shit ain't work out. She slipped off with one of the homies, what I'm
Some dude.
saying?
Some dude.
Then 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 he got jealous and she ran off to New York to possibly try and get back with an ex. It ain't work out. And then it was meant to be. They got a happy ending.
Man, it's the that movie was, man, it was so influential. Man, I started writing poetry after that shit. Like it was
Really?
hell yeah. Like when I uh when I first saw that movie, like I didn't even know what uh um I didn't know what a poetry slam was. I didn't know anything about poetry until that movie came out. And then
Mm-hmm.
when it did, I learned about the the last poets and uh
Mm-hmm.
the guy that I can't remember his name right now, but the guy that actually wrote the poems that he recited. And then I met Malik Youssef a little bit after that movie or whatever. He was one of the performers in there, and he went on to
Oh
write,
yeah.
write for Beyonce, and it appeared on Common's album, and he's won I don't know how many fucking Grammys, but like
Mm-hmm.
I never knew anything about poetry until then, and then on top of all of that shit, Nia Long was in it.
Oh yeah.
You man, you couldn't get finer than Nia Long in the '90s. Like you,
Oh no.
you couldn't
She
get
was fine,
finer,
fine.
man.
And still fine.
Mm, mm. Like I don't know, man.
Still fine.
Like she took that forever beauty away from like, cause you know Angela Bassett been fine for a long ass time too. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and Nia
Mm-hmm.
Long is aging gracefully, my mom. Woo,
Very.
hey, goddamn.
Very.
You know what I mean? So and so I thought I put it the way that I was putting it together was like, man, you can write poetry and get girls. Let me get into this shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit, let me get into this shit. I don't know how many dudes it was that was thinking along the same motherfucking lines that was like, I'm finna start writing. You know what I'm saying? These girls, this shit. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers started wearing the cowrie shells and uh getting their
The
hands kinked up and shit. Hell yeah, doing this shit. Hell yeah, shit. That was my
oh my
shit.
goodness.
That was my shit. That was a good pick. And then you said the Matrix movies. Now that's man, I uh I used to love the Matrix too. Like I still do. It was just um I could never get past the Matrix being connected to Terminator. Like if you watch those two uh not necessarily the later movies, the later Terminator movies, but if you watch like the first two, I say the first two Terminator movies and hear the plot line and then watch the Matrix films, like you got to know like the same motherfucker wrote that shit. And then to come to find out, the same motherfucker did write that shit. It was a black woman. That shit was crazy.
Yep, yep. I know that it was a black woman. I forget her name though. I think I probably watched maybe one Terminator movie.
I think I'd have seen them all in some fashion, except for the last one, Dark Fate. I haven't seen that one, but they stopped getting good reviews after a while, so
Mm-hmm.
they went
Mm-hmm.
back they went back to the basics with the last one. So they still gave it a bad review. So I wasn't in a rush to go see it. But with the Matrix movies though, it was the first time that a lot of technology had been used to film a movie, like that bullet scene in the first one, and um, when he had that big ass fight with all of those different Smiths, and um, that sequence, like that shit was crazy. Like nobody had ever seen that on film before, and even the I think this was two. the highway chase scene. Like nobody had done that before. Like that
Yeah,
was that
no.
was insane. It was insane. So just to watch it for the entertainment value, when it always seems that like the first time you see something, it lasts a whole lot longer than the second time you saw it. So
Hmm.
so I would always end up just rewinding shit. So yeah, I like what was it what is it about the Matrix series that has it in your like top five like all time?
I mean, well, it that one wasn't necessarily my all time. My all time was Harlem Nights. But The Matrix, for me, it was just always a movie that, yeah, I enjoyed the action value of it all, but it was just one of those movies that make you think, and it's like, you can relate some shit out of the Matrix to the real life. Like we're living in the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna go all conspiracy theory on that shit. But every time you watch it, like you get some nuggets with that shit.
Mhm.
So, and again, every time it come on TV, I'm on it. I'm
Wow.
on it. So yeah, Morpheus was my dude.
I think my favorite character in that series was Smith.
Really?
Yeah, once I figured out what he represented, he became my favorite because he seemed to be the only thing that made sense. Like he was the one
Hmm.
that actually evened things out. Like he was the. It was almost as if him not existing would break everything. So it was like he was
Hmm.
needed. And then when he broke bad, that threw a wrench in everything. So he
Hmm.
became he became the ultimate bad guy. And I liked that. Like I don't know what it is, but I think it was just growing up watching movies like uh Sugar Hill and uh Sugar Hill and New Jack City where you rooted for the bad guy. Like
Hmm.
whether you realized it or not, like you rooted for the bad guy. Like nobody wanted Nino to fail. Not where I was from
Right.
anyway. Like
Right.
nobody wanted him to fail. Like everybody wanted Nino Brown to win. Everybody wanted uh man, what was the other movie? Sugar Hill. Everybody wanted Romello to get out the hood.
Hmm. Hmm.
Everybody wanted him to get out. Like they wanted him to have that life. Like they wanted him to be able to stop selling drugs and to do what it was that he really wanted to do. They wanted him to live. They wanted him to, what I'm saying, to not have to follow in the same steps as his dad and shit. To be able to break that pattern. You wanted that. So like you rooted for him, but he was a whole drug dealer and killer.
Yeah.
He was a
Yeah.
whole, and
Yeah.
his brother was nuts. I think I better let it go. Looks
Oh
like
my
another love. TKO. I didn't even know what that song was. I didn't.
God.
But
Really?
every time I heard it, I thought of that movie. Every
Oh my
fucking time.
gosh.
This is the flavor they savor, my neighbor. Like, man, that is my shit. Man, I love Sugar Hill. I could go for some Sugar Hill shit.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's my list. I had a few honorable mentions that didn't necessarily make it to the top five,
Oh, for real?
but
What was it?
um, Color Purple,
No,
Ray,
no.
and even though this one is kind of stupid, but I love a good comedy, and I guess I just got a thing for Eddie Murphy comedy. I really like Dolomite is my name.
Dolomite. I liked that movie too, but not to put on the list, not to be an honorable mention. Like,
I don't care. That movie was funny as shit.
nah. I would like my honorable mentions would be uh it would be Do the Right Thing,
Hmm.
Inside Man, and if I had to pick a third, it would probably be Godfather Part Two.
Okay.
It would probably be it would
Oh,
either
and I
be
had Eve's Bayou too.
oh that nutty ass movie. Like
That movie is the shit.
I've yet to meet a dude that liked that movie. Like that shit was. it was borderline. Oh my god! Like man, man.
Whatever.
Like you know how old I was before I realized that girl was dead. Like it was, it was just man, it's nutty shit, man. It was nutty shit.
Whatever, whatever.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into law three. Conceal your intentions.
Yes, yes, yes. I hope y'all have your books ready.
Yeah, this boy so bent up and used and shit.
I
Creases
know.
all in this motherfucker.
I
So,
know mine is getting kind of beat up already too.
hey man, it happens, man. Man, I know somebody did, but who would buy that hardback? Like, I couldn't imagine buying this book hardback.
Nah. Mm-mm.
All
That
right,
would make
so
my read uncomfortable. But
all
yeah.
right, so what's your takeaways from the third law of power? Conceal your intentions.
Conceal your intentions. So with this one, I'm just going to read my first little highlight that I did on this one. So it says, keep people off balance and in the dark by never revealing the purpose behind your actions. If they have no clue what you're up to, they cannot prepare a defense. Guide them far enough down the wrong path and envelope them in enough smoke. And by the time they realize your intentions, it's too late.
Mm,
So, so my first thought with this one, at first I was kind of thinking like a move in silence kind of situation, but actually it's not. So basically the whole purpose of it is that, you want to have people gain your trust, and you don't want to come off too quiet, you know what I'm saying? Because when you're too quiet and too mysterious in this kind of a situation, then people are not going to trust you. So you want to talk, you want to tell them what your goals are, what your intentions are, but just not your real ones. So, um, this one, and then also another one that, another pointer that kind of stood out to me is using your poker face too. So that was kind of like the part two of it. Um, the use the smoke screen to disguise your actions.
mm.
So I never used to have a really good poker face, but I'm working on
Oh, okay.
it.
Yeah, it's. I think. Um, I think this law, breaking this law, I would say, has probably gotten me in the most trouble in my life. Um,
Really.
yeah, because I tend to wear everything on my sleeve. So
Mm-hmm.
aside from now, because I'm growing my beard out because of the season change. But generally, I look exactly how I feel. So if I'm unshaven, or if I'm, what I'm saying, my hair ain't cut, or I'm walking
Mm-hmm.
around with uh, subpar clothing and disrespectful denim, like if I'm walking around like that, it's because that's how I feel. Or uh,
Mm-hmm.
I always tell girls exactly what it is that I think about them, or exactly what it is that I want from them, and that always gets me way more than either I bargained for or it blows up in my
Mm-hmm.
face. So what revisiting this law does is it reminds me that not telling everything doesn't mean that you're being deceitful.
Mm-hmm.
Not disclosing every movement that you make, or every win that you have, or even the losses
Mm-hmm.
that you take. Not telling everybody everything isn't a bad thing. It doesn't mean that you're being deceptive or that you're hiding something from someone. People use um, good and bad information to their advantage. So
Mm-hmm.
you can be celebrating the win, and someone could try to undermine it. You could be
Mm-hmm.
celebrating the
Mm-hmm.
loss, and someone could throw dirt on you. You know what I'm saying? To try to bury you even further. So the idea of making sure that you do you know what I'm saying, you do the knowledge, and um, build build correctly before you state what it is that you're doing, or before you make an announcement as to when things are unfolding.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not necessarily the popular thing to do, but it's definitely the smartest.
That part.
It's definitely the smartest, just simply because you avoid a lot of people telling you. And I saw a lot of these people post memes about this stuff all the time, or they type out little quotes and put them on Instagram on their walls and shit. But
Mm-hmm.
the whole idea of, man, don't be telling people how, what I'm saying, what you doing, or don't tell too many
Yeah, the
people,
moves you make
yeah, the
and
moves you make and everything
keep
like
that
that.
shit to yourself.
Keep it to yourself, because when you put out that energy, there's negative energy for every positive action, and for every
Mm-hmm.
for every negative action, there's positive energy to counter it. So
Mm-hmm.
everything is cyclical. So if you decide to keep your intentions hid, um, it can be to your advantage, because you keep people off balance. Like they don't really know when it is that you start and shit. Just like what Day said, man, they don't know when they feds don't know when to kick the door in. You know what I'm saying? Like when, you know what I mean? Like when you know what I'm saying, you doing this, that, and the third, and it's all in advancement of your ultimate goal. You don't have to tell everybody that you're doing that and the third. Just tell them you're doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
they don't need to know, you know what I'm saying, that your ultimate goal is Z. Let them start at D. Shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you can give the watered down version. Like you
Mm-hmm.
don't, need to give every single detail about what you're doing, because the moment you do that, that's when a lot of jealousies come into play. That's when a lot of, like you said, negative feelings come into play. That's when them haters come into play. So it's a lot that can come into that when you're revealing everything. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When you put people too far into your business, that's when shit goes left. So your
All
best
the
bet
time.
is to keep that shit to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then, when you got your win, you winning. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? But until you get that win, keep that shit to yourself. Keep it to
Yeah.
yourself.
Especially if your ultimate goal is to have power in what it is that you're doing. Now, when
Mhm.
in the instance of what I was speaking about earlier with Kanye, and um, how this law applies to what it is that he's doing, he does not conceal what his intentions are. Like he tells people exactly what it is that he's doing, why he wants to
Mhm.
do it, and the only thing that's an if is how long it'll take for him to do it. So in that vein, every time he puts out what it is that he wants to do, every time he says what he thinks about himself or what he thinks about what's going on, there are millions of people, millions of thoughts and ideas
Mhm.
to counter what it is that he's saying, to discredit what it is that he's saying, to sow doubt in his ability to do those things. So you
Mhm.
see you see the law in practice and being transgressed all the time. Like
Mhm.
this is probably one of the most popular laws to either follow or break. Like
Mhm.
in the entire book. You know what I'm saying? Definitely
Mhm.
the one so far, because you can say that never outshine the master is the most important, but if you don't master concealing what your intentions are, or you don't understand the idea behind concealing your intentions, you can outshine the master inadvertently. Just like the stories in that book where that dude built Versailles as a like, hey, yeah, I just want to impress you, and like, nah, dude, you're doing too much, man. Give me this shit and get the fuck on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so
Yeah, 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 most definitely, because it says in here that you know, hide your intentions by not closing up. So I have to throw that back out there. But I just wanted to add in that, when you close up, like I said, people grow suspicious of you. And, you know, you can talk to people, give them what they want to hear. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be giving your shit. But when you do that, when you start talking, they said you're killing three birds with one stone. You appear friendly and open and trusting. You're concealing your intentions at the same time, but then you're also sending your rival on a wild goose chase. So you sending people like, okay, what is she doing? Oh, this is what she trying to do. They trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But the whole time you done fake left to go right.
Right, right, right. And there's man, and it takes practice. Like this isn't something that
Mm-hmm.
like you, but like that's why I'm glad that I'm revisiting the book now. You know what I'm saying? Closer to
Mm-hmm.
closer to 40. Because when I first read it in my early 30s, like some of these concepts seemed Machiavellian in a way because it
Mm-hmm.
seemed as if gaining power or aspiring to have power would be something that would be evil or uh, to the detriment of others, when in all actuality, these are laws to have power over your own dominion, to have power
Mm-hmm.
over your own actions and the results of your own the 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 labors that you perform, to have power over their, you know what I'm saying, their fruits. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
as I gotten older, I've been able to recognize that a lot more. So I'm able to see how these things apply to me more so now than I could when I was in my early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you would have
Yeah.
saw this book or these few laws that we've gone over so far? Do you think that you have been able to interpret them the same
Not
then
at
as you
all.
would now?
Not at all. Like if I was to start reading this like back in my even my mid twenties, late twenties, like I'm not gonna say it would have gone over my head, but I would have it wouldn't have sunk in. Like it would have taken me a while to really get that. Because I think at that age, 20s, you still trying to, step into your own and trying to figure out what it is exactly you're trying to do with your life. You know what I'm saying? So I think, once you get into those early to mid 30s, like you kind of know, like you
Mhm.
should know at this point, what it is you're trying to do. And this is the guidebook to help you get there and
Yeah,
help you achieve everything that you want to achieve and manifest everything you want to manifest. So I think, this is your guidebook. This is your roadmap. You know what I'm saying? This is letting you know how you can handle situations in your day to day and get the outcome that you're looking for. So yeah, but I think back then I wasn't ready for this in my 20s.
yeah. I started reading this. I started reading this when I was in college, and some of the concepts made sense because I was a business major, but just in life, like I wouldn't have been able to apply it in life back then because I didn't have a concept of what was going on in life to the point
Mhm.
where I could follow a guidebook, you know what I mean, or I could
Mhm.
apply principles outside of I want I want to say anything religious, you know what I mean, because
Mhm.
you can even know that there are examples of each law and the observances and transgressions of each law inside the book. Um,
Mhm.
I don't think I would have been able I couldn't grasp it back then. Like the only thing that I thought that
Mhm.
made sense was what had been drilled to me over and over again as far as to how treat
Mhm.
people how you want to be treated and shit like that, those basic
Yeah, the basic
instructions.
shit.
Yeah, them basic instructions before leaving earth. You know what I mean? So like that's pretty much all I've ever really had. So to have this as a like somebody telling me like, man, no, you read this, this will be what you need to know going forward. I I couldn't grasp that.
Mhm.
I could
Mhm.
do it for business, but I couldn't do it in a daily life.
Yeah, and just like how he was mentioning in some movies, like you may have watched the movie years ago, but then you come back to it a few years later, you can look at it with a different eye
Yeah.
because you've grown more, you've matured more, you've experienced more. So now you can look at it with a different eye and say, man, this shit has taken on a whole new meaning for me. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what it is with this kind of book. And I mean, it's gonna take me so long to get through this because, like I said, it's not a fast read.
At
So
all. At all. It's more of a
it's
study
not.
guide. Like it's more of a
It
study
is.
guide.
It is. So, and then I mean, I still have mastery to get to after this one. So I have a whole lineup. So,
you picked this up?
yep, I sure
Oh,
did.
I know you had this too.
Yep, I got
Oh, okay.
mine.
Oh, all right, man. Yeah, man. Okay.
Yeah, I bought them both at
Yeah.
the same time on Amazon.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
yeah, so I just picked them both up, and then I had got a few suggestions from a couple other people to get what is it called, the 50th Law.
Yeah, that's the one that he did with 50. I think he did that. It's 2020. I want to. They did that 6 to 8 years ago.
Okay,
So,
okay,
yeah, he did that with 50. I don't know what those other two laws were, but
okay,
I think they added them on to the beginning. Not yeah, to the end. No, it was to the end. But it's a black one. It's black and it's got a big ass 50 on it. I've seen it. I just didn't. I didn't want to buy both. I didn't want to buy 48 and then
hmm,
pay another $20 for two laws. I'm cheap.
yeah, I'm sure you can probably find it like on PDF somewhere online. But I mean, certain books for me, like this kind of book, like I need to have this in the physical. Like I couldn't read it in a PDF. Like I need to highlight, I need to make notes, I need to, take it with
Yeah,
me where I go. So
and
yeah, I
I know
need it in a
people that do
physical.
that. I know people that do that have like those what you call them motherfuckers the fire tablets or what the
Hmm.
it start with a Z. I can't remember the name of it, but they'll have those things nooks. The nook. Remember the nook? Like they'll
Yeah,
have
the
those
Nooks and yeah, the Kindle, using
Kindle. That's
Kindle
what it
apps,
was.
and
The
a lot
Kindle
of people are using Audible now too.
Audible. I couldn't do that shit, and I know that they highlight them inside those things. All right, man, please, man. I'm old
I
as
mean,
hell.
I do have some books that I read on my iPad. But for me, it depends on what kind of a read it is. Like if it's just, a leisure read or an entertainment read, okay, I'm gonna read it on my iPad. But if it's a study type read, I'm really paying attention and taking this in and making notes, then I need it in a physical book. Like if it's something that I may need to refer back to later on, I need it in a physical book. So this is definitely something that I'm gonna keep in my physical collection. Um, I'll get the 50th law at some point later on, so I have enough to keep me busy for a while.
All right, so that's pretty much everything we wanted to go over this episode. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, 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 that was it. Well, yep, actually we did because when we was actually preparing for the show, I was listening to this album. I know you probably never heard of her, but it's this rapper from Atlanta, female rapper Ken the Man. She just
Oh,
released the album. Um, I think a couple weeks ago it just came out. So I was listening to that coming in. So yeah, it's all right. I know that's not your speed.
no, that's cool. Send me the link for send me a link for it so I can listen to it. I'll do that this week. You checked out because before this episode had started, I was listening to Big Sean album Detroit 2. You heard that yet?
No, I haven't listened to that one yet. So I just really got back on Spotify to see like the stuff that's been released over the last couple weeks. So I haven't made it to Big Sean yet.
Yeah, check that out. Like I like it so
Okay.
far. I haven't gotten all the way through. The first track that I heard was the I think it was Friday Night Cipher, and
Okay.
they got everybody from Detroit on that motherfucker. And
Oh shit.
it closed out with Royce the 5'9" and Eminem. It's about 9 minutes
Oh
long.
wow.
It's about 9 minutes long, and Eminem murdered that shit. So
Wow.
uh, yeah, check it out if you can.
Okay, so that's Detroit too.
Yeah,
That's the
Detroit
name
2.
of it.
If you haven't
Okay.
heard, and also, man, if you haven't heard his mixtape Detroit, you should check that out.
Okay.
Like it like that mixtape is kind of what put him on the map. So
Okay.
if you haven't heard that yet, check that out. And
Okay. Yeah, I have it up on my Spotify now, so I will check that out because a lot of times I listen while I work, so
yeah, yeah,
I can have that playing. Because the last album I really dove off into was Nas.
right, okay.
So yeah, so I'll definitely check that one out.
All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up. This is episode, man, it's episode 14. Episode
Yeah.
14. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up. So this has been